Paul Pogba key in that win. Interesting comments here from the Manchester United midfielder. This is a period, the kind of which I've never experienced in my career. The French national team is a breath of fresh air. We're very happy to come here and all very happy to see each other again. It is not the same as with the club. We all group together. It is magical. We realise that everyone is happy to come, and that makes a difference. Frank, I want to start with you on this because a lot of people go, why do FC continue to talk about Paul Pogba? Well, the reason we continue to talk about him is these sort of quotes, which I don't understand, Frank. Why does he come out and say this? Because what on earth does he have to gain on any sort of level by making this sort of statement?
I understand what he means. And Paul Pogba is a leader and he has to talk in front of the camera. And sometimes you forget that when you are singing with the national team, it's not going to be said maybe to the country where you play week in, week out. And that's the main problem, the main concern that Pogba has with, and so many players had that problem. And I had that problem, saying stuff, I shouldn't have said when I was with the national team. So you will have to be always cautious on what you say. And it's true that this can be very well interpreted. And I think it's going to be with Manchester United, because meaning that he's belonging to a group with France, which is not the case with Manchester United. We're going to have comparisons. And what he said, and what we have to understand is they're not sticking together at Manchester United where they are doing that with the national. And it's going to be the bigger problem that he has to resolve with Manchester United.
Gab, why are you shaking your head at me again?
No. I tend to agree with Frank. And look, we can go and we can turn this into, this bad Pogba thing and start questioning about why United would want to extend his contract since he's such a bad egg. But I sometimes you just want people to answer questions honestly. He won a freaking World Cup with France, with these players, with these teammates. Of course he's going to feel better when he's there, as opposed to being at Manchester United right now, where he's in and out of the side. They haven't won anything under Solskjaer yet. If you want to go and interpret this as him causing trouble, him trying to diss United, go ahead. I'm sure many will see it that way. But from what I can tell, that's certainly not how I read it.
We've all done, Shaka, am I being naive here? We've all done it. We've all saved to drafts on Twitter. You're going to think maybe now isn't the time. What have I got to gain by tweeting this out? I understand what he's saying is genuine, that he much prefers playing for France, that he's much more comfortable there. Obviously, he's had much more success. But why say it?
Listen, I think there are a number of things at play here. First of all, I totally sympathise with Paul Pogba, how he feels and what he said and maybe why and how he said it, in that I've been there. You look forward to going and playing with your national team, especially when you have the kind of relationships that you do. And as Gab pointed out, France are world champions. So just by virtue of meeting up with that team that won the World Cup, I think that there's a certain amount of a celebration to it. But speaking personally, I look forward to those international breaks more when I was not in the team, when I was struggling to find form. And I think that's what's weighing heavily on Paul here. That lack of form or being in and out of the Manchester United starting lineup, and then all of a sudden you're back home where you're with your friends, your teammates who won the world title, journalists who remember you as World Cup winners as opposed to being in and out of the Manchester United team. Paul Pogba's, one of his closest friends, both on and off the park, Antoine Griezmann, similar situation for him at Barcelona. So you understand how that release comes about and why, in speaking to those journalists, you say what you do, because for a moment that weight is lifted and you just say what's on your mind, and it feels good to say it, and you deal with the repercussions after. I think that's the part that Paul Pogba is prepared to accept. That I'm going to say it, this is how I feel, it makes me feel better for now, I'll deal with the fallout when I return to Manchester.
The tone is a little hard done by.
Done.
Okay, go on, Frank.
Done. I just want to add something. I'm not sure if Paul Pogba would play the way he played yesterday with France. He would have played the same level, being very simple, very humble, being very disciplined, would have been enough for the English press and for the Manchester United fans, because he wasn't the best. Kante was excellent, Rabiot was absolutely fantastic, And Pogba did the job, but only did the job, meaning that for Manchester United, maybe it wouldn't have been enough because of a lack of leadership. We didn't see Pogba like a leader yesterday. I saw Pogba doing the job, which was quite enough for what we want from him. And he was perfect in that role. Would have been enough for Manchester United and the English press? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that.
Is he picked on? Is he a victim here?
No, I wouldn't say he's a victim. He's brought a lot of this on himself. And in particular, when we talk about this quote, I sympathize with what Shaka is saying, what Frank is saying, what Gab is saying. I understand that it is a breath of fresh air to go to the national team. But you're going to have to go to Manchester. You're going to have to go back to Manchester because, see, the fresh air disappears. Yeah. And so this week will disappear, and you'll have to go back, and you're going to have to answer on this. And this is your daily job. This is your in and out. This is your bread and butter. The national team is not. The national team, it's a wonderful privilege to have as a player. And it's a great opportunity. And because it is a wonderful privilege, you appreciate it when you're there. But then you got to go back to reality. And you're going to have to deal with the fact that you are not a starter right now at Manchester United. And just because you say these things and it makes you feel better about yourself, just like Shaka just mentioned, it's not going to make your situation any better. In fact, I would argue that it makes it worse because it now creates an environment that was indeed worse than what it was when you left Manchester. Is that what you want? I don't think so.
Frank?
I agree with Ali. I think it's a mistake and it's an error to explain what you feel with the national team comparing to what you feel in the club. And it's true. It's the bread and butter. You know, you are paid by the club. You work every day with the club, and you have to represent the club. And saying that, you know, you betray in a way your fans and maybe your teammates. We all made that mistake again, and I'm sure that I did it, and I regret it, and I'm sure Paul Pogba will regret it. And as Ali said, when he will go back to Manchester United, he will feel the power of the word that he put out in the press conference, and he will have to accept that and take responsibility for his acts.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.